We're talking about the 5 biggest Kona disasters. Not coming back, not gonna try it, and then he did. Runs herself to the point of pooping? That's a sport I wanna do. What's up, Trainiacs? In honor of today's vlog topic, I'm coming to you from the floor because today, with also it being the month leading up to Kona, we're talking about the 5 biggest Kona full Ironman distance world championship disasters that have ever happened in the history of Kona. It's tough, there's a long list. I'm also coming to you from the floor of the office because I came to the office today after a day away yesterday to find that Mel sold all the chairs in the office before we shut it down. So I got nowhere to sit. All right, on to the disasters. Now, Kona is a damn tough course. The swim, not the worst. I've done it, it's okay. The bike, however, you're out in the blazing hot lava fields of Kona, and apparently you go into the wind coming out, and then magically you go into the wind coming back. The wind hates you in Kona. It's just the way it is. And then the run, I've done that run, just like half of it. It is miserable. It's like being in a sauna. You can see the heat waves coming up off the asphalt. And that wasn't even getting out into the lava fields and the energy lab in Kona. It is probably one of the hardest courses that is trafficked by a lot of people. Courses that are typically this hard are like the Norseman, where there's only several hundred people that go into it, not hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that try to get into it and suffer through it every single year. These 5 triathletes, however, did try to suffer through it and very successfully did suffer through it. Yeah. First triathlete to be claimed by Kona on this list is Marino Van Hoenacker. And there wasn't really a specific race that claimed him. Basically every performance that he put in Kona was a complete disaster. I don't even think he finished a race in Kona. Every single time he went to Kona, he went there as one of the favorites. At one point, he actually owned the Ironman distance world record all time. Like, he's an incredibly talented full Ironman distance triathlete. And then he goes to Kona, basically melts, having to be pulled off the course year after year after year. And just about every single year, he said, you know what? I'm just not made for this race. I'm not coming back, not gonna try it. And then he did. And the same thing happened. So thank you, Marino, for your efforts.
I'm done with this race. I tried enough and I don't want to go through this again.
A second person on the list in spot number 4 didn't necessarily have a complete disaster of a race, but he had one of the most unfortunate Kona meltdowns of all time because he was so close to actually winning, was Chris Leito in 2009. Now, Chris Leito was an incredible cyclist. He would go out onto the bike, and as he said it, he's got one play. It's to bike his face off and then try to hold off everyone else from catching up to him on the run. In 2009, he nailed that bike. Like, everything was firing on all cylinders, and he came into T2 12 minutes ahead of Craig Alexander. And he held off Craig Alexander right up until like the final 3-4 miles of the run when all of a sudden he imploded. And even though it was just another few miles away from being immortalized on Kona as a champion, couldn't do it. Craig Alexander passed him like he was standing still, and then several seconds later he did stand still. And as talented an athlete as Chris was, constantly putting himself in the front on the bike, that was as close as he ever got to tasting victory in Kona. Sad. The third person on the list, and number 3, was a legendary Kona athlete, winning multiple times, Paula Newby Fraser. However, in 1995, she had one of the biggest Kona meltdowns ever. Biggest because not only did her body give out, but her mind gave out too. She was in the lead for the entire race, and at mile 20, she was asking who was in behind her, and it was her competitor, Karen Smyers. Now, Karen Smyers made it to the finish line, expecting to be crowned as the runner-up, but then she goes, Where's Paula? Well, it just so happened that Karen Smyers was the winner because Paula Newby Fraser was at mile 20 back on the course. Karen had ran past her, and there was a group of volunteers who were tending to Paula Newby Fraser, who was lying on the cement wondering if she was gonna die.
You're gonna die. You're okay. You're about to die.
That's how serious it was. She didn't know where she was. She didn't know if she was gonna survive. She thought her entire body was shutting down. Huge meltdown. Now, Paula Newby Fraser after that said that she broke basically all the rules of preparation leading into Kona that year, and she paid for it. Poor gal. But don't worry, the next year she came back and won. Besides that year, she was pretty damn good in Kona. Now, spots 4A and 4B are the old jelly legs 1-2 punch. You want a little thunder? How about a little lightning? By Cian Welsh and Wendy Ingram. In 1997 in Kona, they were battling it out for the third spot, that last spot on the podium. And coming right into the finish chute, they were still neck and neck, going side by side, when bam, their legs gave out. And it wasn't just one of their legs that gave out, both of their legs gave out. One woman went down first, taking out the other woman, and it wasn't like she was like, oh yeah, that's okay, I'll just step over her. No, all of a sudden they're crawling to the finish line, at which point they gave up the third spot. However, Wendy Ingram outcrawled Cian Welsh to get fourth place. How's that for crawling over the finish line? Like, you give it your all, ladies, you go. And then finally, the last and absolutely most iconic meltdown in Kona history is 1982 Julie Moss. And this meltdown right in the finish chute of the Ironman World Championship was actually something that was televised on TV, and it was a lot of people's first exposure to the Ironman and triathlon sport. This single event of Julie Moss falling down and pooping herself in the finish chute at Kona is the reason that a huge amount of triathletes got into the sport, because they said that if it's that hard that a woman goes in there and she runs herself to the point of pooping on national TV, that's a sport I want to do. Good decisions, everyone. Great decisions. So yeah, Julie Moss, she spent basically the entire day out in the lead, clocking through miles and looking incredibly strong, right up until she got to the finish chute and started walking. And then all of a sudden, bam, went down, could not get up, could not move, could not drag herself to the finish line, even though she tried. And in the footage you look at, and she seemed coherent, but her legs just weren't going for it. Maybe if she took a lesson from Cian Welsh and Wendy Ingram, she could have crawled her way and maintained that first place finish. However, Kathleen McCartney basically had to step over Julie Moss to get to the finish line first and win Kona back in 1982. So there you go, Trainiacs. We are getting very close to this year's Kona World Championship. By all accounts, you might see your favorite triathlon YouTuber there. Just maybe, just maybe with some luck. But it's a phenomenal race because of these stories and the stories of many champions who did not poop themselves. So thank you to all athletes who went out there and got on this list for our entertainment. I'm sorry it happened to you all, but makes for good videos. Go Kona!
Just wanted to finish because I'm not coming back here, so